Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and before I get going, I'll remind everybody, if you want to join the private group, it's daixrp.com. You can go to, or you can join through, that's the Patreon, or you can join through YouTube. Click the join button right below this video, or you can join through X if you'd prefer. Before I get going on what we're going to do in the group, I'm going to show you what someone says is the most underrated digital asset in the world. And I would say I agree it's going to be one of the bigger ones. And I'm not talking about XRP, but I think, of course, XRP above all, in my opinion. So we'll talk about that. This is one of the guys from iTrustCapital, Jared Feldman. Wanted you to listen to what he says about iTrustCapital. One of my affiliate partners or partners.
Kind of get started. My name is Jared Feldman. I'm the SVP of operations at iTrustCapital. For those of us who do not know us, we are a crypto platform that provides retail folks with access to institutional grade crypto security solutions, as well as buy and sell liquidity. And now we offer staking. We have retirement accounts. We also have what we refer to as premium custody accounts, which are non-retirement accounts. We're very different than some of your quote unquote mainstream exchanges in the sense that our clients have asked us to put security first. Our accounts are not drainable. We don't have hot wallets. They've been built in order to account for all the unfortunate social engineering scams and illicit activity that you see when it comes to folks trying to get into people's crypto accounts. And that's the real genesis and basis for the various products that we offer. They're all offered within secure closed loop systems. I think we will be open at some point to have like a Q&A. I'm always happy to do that. But for now, we're going to be discussing the launch of staking. We have Solana staking, which we just announced today. We're partnering with both Fireblocks as well as Figment for the launch of Solana staking. And we're very excited. More importantly, our clients are very excited. We've seen a lot of interest in it so far. And the main reason is because people love to buy and sell crypto, but people also love to just hold their crypto. And for people who are hodlers that are doing so within these proof of stake networks, they want to be able to participate in the staking service.
Okay, and we can only hope that XRP yield comes next. You can go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army. If you want to open an account. They created a page here for me and Brad Combs of Digital Perspectives. You can do you can set up an IRA, or you can set up the premium custody account. And I think, let me look down here. I think they give you, first of all, there's only 1% trading fee. You don't pay anything for the institutional custody. And then they have a promo code XRP6. And it says here, use this promo code to claim your $100 funding bonus. All right, we've got a little bit of movement in XRP. This thing's up at 230 right now, it looks like. There's a lot of these chart guys that are out there acting like this is it could take off here soon. This is great from John Deaton. Coinbase, Kraken, Ripple, Robinhood, etc. are the banks of the not-so-distant future. I predict Coinbase, Kraken, Robinhood will become a one-stop shop for all types of loans, including mortgages, construction loans, consolidation loans, car loans, and even facilitate P2B loans. If Ripple acquires Uphold, like some folks are speculating, I add them to the list. Crypto collateral loans, yield, DeFi, that don't innovate or slow or adopt the tech will die because they're less likely to compete with DeFi's speed and accessibility. People want the potential for higher yields and thought of financial independence. Coin, Hood, or today and tomorrow's blue chip stocks. And then this is Kavita Gupta from Delta Blockchain Fund. She's talking about the IPO market that's coming for crypto.
Well, when we talk about the future, I want to talk a little bit more about how crypto infiltrates the equity market, because watching Circle shares has just been stunning. Since their IPO, I see them up about 480%, and consensus seems to be that this is going to coax some of those other crypto companies to come into the public equity markets.
100%. We are seeing two big strategies right now. One is companies going IPO. We are expecting Kraken early next year. We are expecting FalconX, Anchorage, bunch of them. At the same time, the second one, which is getting very fascinated, is a lot of existing IPO companies in NASDAQ and NYSE are taken over by the crypto strategies. And so we saw Upexi with Solana strategy, we saw SBAT with Ethereum strategy, and we continue to see a lot of TON, BitSensor, Hyperliquid, multi-million dollar, $100 to $500 million announcements, and Bitcoin, of course, based on the yield. Now, what is very interesting, which we have to watch, is that the only way for the markets, especially institutional endowments, to actually hold and have exposure to crypto? Or is it just another way of token up and down?
All right. Now, this is Matt Hogan, who was at XRP Las Vegas. He's from Bitwise.
By the year 2030, this market is going to look completely different. And it's not going to be dominated by this narrative of store of value, but instead it's going to be dominated by which of these products has the best technology. That is why we are such strong believers in the products that I just talked about. When you think about the journey between 2025 and 2030, you've already kind of stated you believe the 4-year cycle is dead. What do you believe this market looks like over the next half decade? And how should our listeners kind of consider that when they're looking at crypto today?
Yeah, I think it looks radically different, right? We are rebooting the monetary system. We started with store of value, but eventually all items of value are going to move over blockchain networks. I just called a few things that you just said there, Abs, because it was an incredible run through. The Secretary of Treasury expects the market for stablecoins to something like 14x over the next 4 years. That's not a degen trader. That's not a YOLO retail investor. That's the Secretary of Treasury, like the lead financial person in the US, arguably in the world, saying this market's going to 14x over the next 4 years. And you look at just the recent announcements that we've seen, I don't know, in the past week, you had Robinhood talking about tokenizing stocks for public and private companies. You have Kraken launching tokenized stocks. It's just clear to me that the things we've been saying in crypto for so many years about it being a more efficient system to move all items of value are coming into the world now, right? And they've been repressed again from a regulatory perspective. It couldn't happen under the previous administration, but now that we have regulatory relief, now that we maybe have a stablecoin bill, now that we maybe have a market structure bill, now that we maybe have spot-based ETFs that allow institutional capital to invest in that space, I think it's going to go very fast, very far, probably faster and further than people expect. These technologies, once they start moving up the exponential
escape velocity
curve, it happens really fast. And I think we're right at that point. I do think in 5 years, most assets will move over tokenized networks, and the leading blockchains that facilitate that obviously will be extraordinarily valuable.
All right. Now, Ripple's been putting out some of the good clips from Apex, and Subjective Views went and grabbed them.
What do we do next? What other value could this drive? So I think that this is where some cool things are. So collateralized lending is pretty cool. So just to give you an example of what this part is, imagine if, again, capital efficiency here, you're a company who wants to be able to put through 20 million, 30 million. I see this a lot in startups. It's like you can make this unit economics make sense up to a limit, and as soon as you start hitting the bounds of actually the cash that you have on hand, cash starts becoming really important. If you can't actually move this through, what you actually want to do is go through people like prime brokers. What they do, and actually what you can do here, you can deposit assets so you will not have to liquidate them. You can actually get loans that collateralizes off that. So I've wanted to do $5 million in trading and payments. If I had $1 million in Bitcoin, $1 million in XRP, and I was able to hold that without actually having to sell it and to trade it, and then being able to be lend off that, and then having this settlement process where you can actually recycle it. This is a really, really strong thing. And again, this is why prime brokers exist. This is their business model. I think being able to do this on chain I think this is pretty cool. And for me, if you have the payments network with the rails, this is what OTC desks cannot do. They can have FX, they can do this quickly. They can even give you some collateral. They don't do third-party payouts. So for me, combining these things together, I think this is pretty cool. This is a new model.
It's cool, all right. And then move all your assets on chain with the XRP ledger.
Last part for me, tokenized real-world assets. Now, I mentioned at the beginning, like NFTs, I love these things. And for me, where I think that this can eventually go is these real-world assets of tokenized securities. When I have this liquidity, I have this actually like approved network that I know my participants in here, I start to be able to leverage a lot of these other use cases, which become pretty cool. I've always had this idea, of like being able to aggregate your wealth in one place, being able to say when I can, world where I can tokenize my assets, I can be able to put these things together and actually create these liquidity pools. And one of these other pieces I've always thought is like, could I pay groceries in frequent flyer miles? Like, why not, right? And I think that this is the case that you can start to get here, right? Which is that like, if I have my assets and my wealth in a place where I can tokenize them, I can bring them on chain, I have a secure place to be able to exchange them, I start to think some of these things are actually not that far off. So,
used this example a long time ago, 5-7 years ago, I was talking about the example of what you're going to be able to do is be in your grocery store. Let's say and you're buying some bananas, you're going to be able to pull up your phone and you could own stocks, bonds, XRP itself. You could own stable coins, you could own tokenized real estate, and they would all be in the form of tokens right there on your phone. You can say, oh, well, I have these tokenized shares of the Empire State Building that's been tokenized, and I'd like to buy these bananas. I guess I'll use one of those tokens or a couple of those tokens and buy these bananas. And it will go boom, just like that. That's where the world's going. We've got some really exciting times ahead. Jack McDonald's commenting on Ripple applying for the bank charter. National Trust would bring a dual layer of regulation for RLUSD as we continue to raise the bar for transparency, compliance in the stablecoin market, something few issuers today can claim. And then there's this. Senate Banking Committee will hold a hearing on crypto market structure on July 9th, 2025. Witnesses include Blockchain Association CEO Sumner Mersinger, Chainalysis Jonathan Levin CEO, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and Paradigm General Partner Dan Robinson. See where this is all going, folks? Okay, we'll go into the group at daixrp.com. That's the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, click join right below this video. If you'd rather join through X, just click the subscribe button. Post all the extended videos with no commercials in all three of those places. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment. And by the way, we're going to talk about what is the most underrated digital asset according to one person in the world besides XRP. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Away we go.